Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise here on Nile TV International. And you know what? Despite the COVID-19 pandemic challenge, Egypt's archaeological accomplishments in 2020 were big. And we are honored to have with us here Dr. Ahmed Badr, a tourism expert, to discuss the most significant discoveries unearthed during 2020 and the efforts exerted by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities again. And I insist, despite the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much, Dr. Badr, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all the viewers and to all the world.
Same to you.
Dr. Badr, it's a pleasure to have you with us today on Nile Cruise, and Happy New Year. The first question here is the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. Dr. Khalid Al-Anani said that the minister said 17 museums have been inaugurated or developed throughout the past 6 years. How do you evaluate the effort of the Ministry of Antiquities?
Well, of course, I can say the biggest achievement of the new archaeological discoveries is that you were discovered by Egyptian hands. So this is giving us more experience in this field of archaeological discoveries. Of course, that we got from the foreign working with foreign experts throughout the past years. This year, of course, because of the COVID-19, and as the minister said in one of his interviews, they were looking for even more discoveries, but due to the pandemic, most of the foreign experts, they had to leave Egypt. So on the other hand, I can see this is a benefit for us because, as I said, the discoveries were made by Egyptians, 100%. They discovered the tombs, they took everything out, they renovated them, they made them ready for to be all over, to be shown either at the museums or at even international shows later when things are back to normal. So, and also some of the statues were restored, like the big statues in front of Luxor Temple. There were six statues. They were almost completely destroyed. They were renovated and restored again by Egyptian hands to give the great look of the Luxor Temple.
Glamour.
Exactly, yes. The glamour of and the greatness of the temple, of the facade of the temple, back to what it used to be. So, and also having new museums or restoring the old museums, this will serve the tourism sector, both foreign and domestic tourism. We don't have to do everything for foreign tourism, because a museum like Kafr Sheikh, it's a very important museum. It's a very important place for archaeological discoveries, but I have to say it's a way of tourism map, unfortunately. But we need to give the Egyptian people their history. They need to see it. They need to know about it. So there is no better way than having museums all over the country, in each governorate, for the people of the governorate to go and see their history of the governorate itself and the history of Egypt as a country. So it will serve both in either governorates that are out of the foreign tourism, or for the domestic tourism, and also with the great mega projects that are being done all over the country. This will attract some foreign people. Not, of course, most of them will not be tourists, tourists, but maybe experts. So if we're having an engineers coming to work at the Kafr Sheikh mega electricity plant, so why not having some of their time and go to visit the museum or the museums in any other governorate?
Yes. Dr. Badr, speaking about some new trend here, which is the integration of cultural tourism with leisure tourism or beach tourism. We saw the opening of the Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh museums. How significant is that development in your view?
Well, definitely creating attraction points in every touristic area. This will give you the chance to get more tourists and also to raise your income from tourism. People who are going to have leisure in Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada, they're just staying by the beach and enjoy the sun and the sand and the beaches. But definitely they want to do something else. So you need to create a package for them. So in the morning, you can lay on the beach. In the afternoon, you can go to the museum and have some cultural activities at the museum. And you can, around the museum, you can also create a story around it. Maybe you can have like a section of it with new modern art gallery or something like dance band or some folkloric shows, things like that, but in a nice way, not the commercial dances, something like what we see in El Ghuri, the show of the Tanura. These things attract people, so we want to show them our culture, we want to show them our history, and then you can also add nightlife, shopping. These are now the future of tourism worldwide. People go to south of Spain or south of Europe to enjoy the beaches in the morning, and then in the afternoon they have other attractions, museums. They do even conferences and conventions all over the year. By night they have the nightlife, they have the shopping. So it
makes it more fun and it makes it more entertaining, so it grabs more tourists in the country.
Exactly. So you are trying to attract more people with different minds, different ideas. Somebody wants to have fun, somebody wants to have shopping, somebody wants to know about
you have all the options.
Exactly, yes. But then you need to work on them and make them more appealing for the people to come.
Okay, Dr. Badr, Kafr Sheikh Governorate, since the earliest historical times, has a large share of the contribution in, of course, to the history of Egyptian civilization. Would you please elaborate, shedding more light on the significance of inaugurating Kafr Sheikh Museum?
Okay, so I was talking about that.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, no, I was just speaking about that. This particular,
and
Kafr. Well, Kafr Sheikh definitely it's.
Kafr Sheikh is totally different.
Yeah, I know. Just
so I had to focus on it.
Kafr Sheikh is museum is a long-awaited museum for the people of Kafr Sheikh.
I just want to tell you something. The idea of having a museum in Kafr Sheikh for me was, I never knew we do have a museum in Kafr Sheikh. So that was why I was interested in asking you this question.
Well, we should have a museum in each city of Egypt. Again, this will definitely, I have to say, this will be more for the domestic tourism. More and more for the people of Kafr Sheikh themselves to go and see the history of their governorate and the history of Egypt.
But obviously Kafr Sheikh had a big part in the early ancient Egyptian civilization, didn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Place like Tal al Fara'in and
yeah,
other places,
yeah.
there were so many discoveries, and also Kafr Sheikh. It was one of the main stops for the Holy Family trip
Yeah,
to Egypt.
yeah.
So there are some old churches out there, and it is on the map of the Holy Family journey to Egypt that I hope it will be back to track again after the pandemic is over.
Yes,
So
hopefully.
definitely it is an important part of Egyptian history that needs to be
Focused on,
shown,
yeah.
needs to be on the map.
Highlighted. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, it is the right of Egyptian people to know their history. So definitely we need a
More
museum
and more.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just a museum, but it's like a cultural center. We need
Yes.
like a cultural center everywhere.
Dr. But speaking of the discoveries, the archaeological discoveries, we had a big one at Saqqara necropolis this year. What is the significance of that specific new discovery and other discoveries, other important discoveries that were made in 2020?
Well, we had almost more than 15 or 20 big discoveries in 2020. The biggest one was, of course, the latest one in Saqqara. Saqqara is extremely, extremely rich in archaeological discoveries. For most of the people, they think Saqqara is only the step pyramid of Zoser, but this is just the tip of the iceberg for Saqqara area. It's full of tombs, it's full of things to be discovered also. Later, the best thing about it is it was done by Egyptian hands, as I was saying. It gives also a good feedback about Egypt during the pandemic, that the country is not standing. No, we are moving. We are moving. We are doing discoveries. We are doing. We are. It's like we are living.
Normally,
And
we're not in lockdown, and we're not.
Exactly, we're not in lockdown, and also it was a good feedback on the international media with the big press conference that was covered by all the international media, and most of the ambassadors in Egypt were attending this conference and this event, showing the discoveries, showing what was done in steps starting from the discovery itself throughout the showing of the statues and the mummies discovered. And it's also, each discovery is putting like a piece of the jigsaw puzzle of the Egyptian history. It gives you more information about history. We don't need to use all the discoveries in tourism, because Egypt, we have so many that no one can cover them all in 1 or 2 or 10 visits. But historically speaking, it's very important, very, very important. They give us more information about the Egyptians, ancient Egyptians, and the history of them and the history of our great nation. So these are the main and the most important points about the discoveries, and especially Saqqara discovery.
Dr. Badr, would you tell us the significance of developing the pyramids in the Grand Egyptian Museum area, shedding the light on the most remarkable features of the state's developing plan?
Well, of course, the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, are the most famous.
They're the oldest wonder. We have 7 wonders.
They are, yes, of course, and they are the most famous.
The most famous, yeah.
Yes.
Of the 7 wonders of the world.
Yes, and they are the most famous historical attraction all over the world.
They
People,
almost come at number one. I mean,
yeah,
always. Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
the
That's the regular
So,
rating.
they
the
study
normal
them
rating.
and they want to see them. So definitely having the Grand Egyptian Museum by the Great Pyramids together and with the new Sphinx Airport and with the plan that I saw to renovate the entire area and having more services and having more hotels and more attractions about this amazing wonder of the world. Definitely, you are creating more attractions for the tourists to come and see not just the pyramids. Well, everybody wants to come to see the pyramids, but it's how you see them. It's the experience of seeing them, not just the pyramids, but everything around it. The what we say, the wraparound services. We can have,
And that's what will GEM allow for and give that new dimension.
exactly.
Unfortunately, yeah,
Yes,
Rana and
Mohammed,
Dr. Badr, we're
Dr.
out of time. So we thank you. It's been a pleasure. But
Thank you
we
very
have to end it
much.
here.
And
Thank you.
again, once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and
Happy New
all
Year, Dr.
the viewers.
Dr. Ahmed Badr, we are honored, of course, to have you today, a tourism expert. Thank you so much for joining us in today's episode of Nile Cruise. Thank you for always joining us in every episode. Thank you for your informative knowledge that you add to our, of course, episodes. Thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you a wonderful year ahead, full of joy, success, happiness, and wealth, of course.
You too.
Most
Thank you.
important. Dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll be back again.